Um, it is Thursday, April 11th, 7:08 p.m., so I'd say almost 7:15. Last video I proposed the question, not in the video but in the title. I proposed the question, how do you forget you're miserable? And I have the answer. Sometimes you just do. Um, and it's a lesson I'm glad to have learned, or at least thought about, and I'm sure I'll forget the answer and find myself wondering that same question in a couple days. I'm a very cyclical person, I think. I think if you track the videos on this channel, I think you can see the pattern of my thoughts that begin to emerge. But hopefully I'm on more of a positive uptick right now. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Exam week is going to kick my butt. It's a lot of work, and I'm only in one class that has a proper exam. A lot of my other classes are like creative things where you do projects and stuff. So I have a lot of projects I'm gonna have to do, but it's gonna suck, but it'll be over, and then hopefully I did everything well with my internship, and I am able to work that this summer. There is some standing circumstance with a drug test, but that's not my worry right now. And I'm sure I'm overreacting because I should be completely fine. But it's just who I am that I worry a lot. But on some more uplifting news, I guess. The total solar eclipse was earlier this week, which was so beautiful. The solar eclipse. It was such an amazing moment. And I'm glad I got to share it with friends, because actually I spent that day with friends, and it was beautiful. And I think I recorded that video on the day of the eclipse, and I don't think I talked about it. The eclipse was beautiful, and I climbed a roof, and I just sat up there with my friends, and we watched it go, and we listened to Black Hole Sun, because that's what a total solar eclipse looks like. It looks like a black hole swallows the sun. And just I'm really happy I got to experience like full totality, because it's I mean I've never seen anything like that before, and I don't think I'll see anything like that for the rest of my life, to be honest. So I'm grateful to have seen it, because it really was beautiful. Uh, no, yeah, I'm saying the same things over and over again. Let me take a second to recoup my thoughts. I know why I felt so bad that day where I asked that question. Um, and I think it's because I had a good time hanging out with people. And I started wondering, like, why don't I hang out with people all the time? It started to make me think about personal loneliness and my issues with self isolation and stuff like that. And on top of that, I do a radio show on Mondays, and it was the day to do my radio show, and I couldn't. I forgot to like ask people ahead of time to be on my show, and I hate doing my show alone, because it's always so much better when you have a friend, company, people to talk to and stuff. Um, so I forgot to ask people. No one could do it on such short notice. So I get to the studio where we do the radio show out of, and the door's locked, and I put in the group me. I'm like, hey, our show's not happening today. And the director of the radio station goes, oh yeah, shows are canceled. And I'm like, okay, well, was this announced anywhere? And he goes, oh yeah, I announced it in the group me. Um, no, you didn't. No, you did not. I scrolled back through the group me, and there was one person, maybe 4 days before the eclipse, who asked, oh hey, our show's going to be canceled on the day of the eclipse. And the general manager or director or whatever, he's like, oh yes, they are. That is not an announcement. That is not an announcement. You are supposed to send an email out to everybody. You are supposed to at least mention people. You're supposed to mention the people whose shows are getting canceled that day. Because expecting somebody to just check the group me on is just stupid. It's ridiculous. Okay? I'd understand if this was a volunteer thing and he was, not getting paid to do this stuff. But this man makes at least 12 an hour managing this student radio station, and he's doing like nothing. Like I've seen like 4 directors at this point. No, he's the third. I've seen 2 others. The first one was amazing. The second one was all right. This guy is doing nothing. He is the most nothing general manager of this radio station ever. And like I can't put in the group me like, hey man, that's not an announcement. You need to do better. This is your job. I can't do that because I'm going to sound rude and I don't want to antagonize the guy. And deep down, I'm scared of retaliation from people who don't like me. And so I think that was a tipping point that made me feel so awful that day where I asked, how do you forget you're miserable? And truthfully, once again, you just do. Because I hadn't really been thinking about that. Of course, I've asked a couple people, since then, like, oh, like how ridiculous is this guy for not sending out an email or making an actual announcement? And all my friends have agreed, oh, he's stupid. He's not the right thing to do. But like, I forgot how miserable that made me. And now it's just like a fun thing I can complain to people about. I saw this TikTok a long time ago where people were talking about how you just get used to things. And that includes happiness. People would enter circumstances that make them happy. Then they would just get used to that level of happiness. And it's almost like, it's not making you happy anymore because you're just used to the happiness. And I think that same principle can almost apply to sadness. You just, get used to how sad you are and you get over it. Yeah, I feel like I've said the wrong thing and I lost the analogy. That happened to me earlier today. I was talking to somebody and I was, I don't know what I was trying to explain, but I compared it to trying to find a needle in the haystack during the hay eating competition. And I don't know what I meant by that. Look, what could that possibly mean? Trying to find the needle in the haystack during the hay eating competition? I don't understand what I was trying to say. I don't understand what I'm trying to say now. I really just wanted to just say, how do you forget you're miserable? You just do. And eventually you remember. But then you just have to forget again. Cyclical. Like Sisyphus rolling his boulder, I am Sisyphus. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Albert Camus. I haven't read Myth of Sisyphus yet. I want to, but like, I tried to, but it's so... You have to know what he's talking about before you can understand it, because he references a lot of other stuff. So I'm working on reading the stuff to get the context necessary for truly understanding his work. But I'm only really going to half study, because with those things, like a lot of people have said, like online, like you got to read it and just keep reading and eventually you'll get it. And then you got to go back and reread the stuff you didn't, which makes sense. That's, how you learn stuff. But I don't really have any more points to make. I don't really have any much more to say. I'm doing better. I don't know. I feel like generally, I am doing better. And I got a haircut. I said that in the last one, but I wasn't liking how it looked that day, so I just hit it. But I'm liking it a little more how it looks now. So if you're watching this, let me know how you like my haircut in the comments. I'll do a quick side profile thing. It's a little uneven, but it doesn't bother me too much. Anyway, goodbye. Hopefully I'll record another video next week, and I'll see you then.